Hi, story lovers! Welcome to my channel where I share cool stories. Ready to dive in? So, let's let the story begin. Every night when the moon was full, she would find herself waking up in an unfamiliar place. At first, she assumed it was a dream. However, when she woke up and stretched, she realized this was no dream. Because, as far as she knew, this white room didn't exist in the real world. The white room had windows. But whenever she approached them, she saw nothing but a blinding white light. When she touched the window pane, it felt cold, as if it were made of ice. No matter how hard she tried, she could never open the window. In the corner of the room was a boy who was always asleep. She would wake up every night between 2 and 3 am. But the boy would still be asleep. His breathing was very faint, almost as if he were about to die. The girl would watch him for a while, then leave the room. Sometimes she would come back to the room and find something new. For example, one time she found a book with the title, The Room Between Days. Another time she found a picture of a house, which looked exactly like the one in her memories. She began to suspect that the room was somewhere in her hometown. So one night she brought a flashlight with her and examined the walls of the room, but she couldn't find anything unusual. She even pricked her finger and let a few drops of blood fall onto the floor, but nothing happened. The next day at school, she met her friend and told him what had happened. He listened patiently to her story, then said, "I think I know where that room is." After school, they went to an old abandoned building together. It was rumored that anyone who entered that building would never come out alive. The girl was scared, but she wanted to find the truth, so she followed her friend into the building. They walked through a long corridor, then came to a large iron gate. Her friend opened the gate, and the two of them walked through. Then they came to a room. It looked exactly like the one from her dream. "Is this the room?" she asked her friend. He shook his head. "This is just the entrance. Come with me." He led her down a long corridor. At the end of the corridor was another iron gate. They pushed the gate open and entered. The room was pitch black. "Wait here," he said. Then he turned on his flashlight and shone it around the room. The girl gasped in surprise because the room looked exactly like the one from her dreams. There was a window in front of her, a bookshelf to the right, and a boy sleeping in the corner. "It really is him," she whispered. She walked over to the bookshelf and found a book with the same title as the one she saw in her dream. She opened it, but it was filled with strange symbols that she didn't understand. Then she noticed a small hole in the wall. She put her finger in and it was warm. She pressed her whole hand against the hole and it felt like she was touching a living creature. Suddenly, the boy in the corner opened his eyes. The girl screamed in fright. The boy slowly got up and walked towards her. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I won't hurt you." The girl stared at him for a moment, then asked, "Who are you?" The boy hesitated, then said, "My name is Ren." The girl felt a sense of déjà vu. It was as if she had known him for a long time. "Do you remember who you are?" she asked. "And do you remember why you're in this room?" Ran shook his head. "I don't remember anything. I just remember my name." The girl stepped closer to Ran. "Then let me help you recover your memories." As she did, she felt a strange sensation, as if she were touching a flame. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I'll definitely help you." When she opened her eyes again, she found herself lying on the floor of her room. It was morning and sunlight was streaming in through the window. She got up and walked over to the window. Outside, the sun was shining brightly and birds were singing happily. She thought back to the events of the previous night. Had it all been a dream? No, it couldn't have been. She could still feel the warmth of Rand's body in her fingertips. Suddenly, a book fell from the bookshelf. She quickly picked it up and opened it. It was the same book she had seen in her dream. The pages were filled with the same strange symbols. As she looked through the book, she saw a drawing of a keyhole in the corner. She took a closer look and realized that the keyhole matched perfectly with the hole in the wall she had seen in the other room. She stood up and walked to the bookshelf. On top of the bookshelf was a wooden box. She tried opening it, but it was locked. She turned the box over and saw a small hole that looked like a keyhole. She inserted the key and turned it. The box opened with a click. Inside the box was a silver key. She took the key and ran to her window. She inserted the key into the keyhole and turned it. The key fit perfectly. As she turned it, the window disappeared and a spiral staircase appeared in its place. She cautiously descended the stairs. At the bottom of the stairs, she saw a wooden door. She knocked on the door 3 times. Then she heard a faint voice from behind the door. "Who's there?" "It's me," she replied. "Can I come in?" The voice seemed surprised. "You shouldn't be here. Don't come in." "But I want to see Ren. Is he here?" The voice sighed. "All right, come in." The door opened slowly. She entered the room and gasped in surprise. The room was filled with bookshelves, but there was no sign of Ren. She walked over to one of the bookshelves and found a book with the same title as the others. She opened it and began reading. Between the realm of dreams and reality lies a secret room accessible only to those who possess the silver key. In this room, the boundaries between past, present, and future become blurred, and one can relive moments from different eras. She continued reading. However, the room holds a dangerous secret. Anyone who enters must be extremely careful, or they may become trapped in the room forever. Just then, a figure emerged from behind a bookshelf. "Are you the one who found the silver key?" "Yes, I am," she replied. "Do you know where Ren is?" "Ren," the man said. "You must be careful. He is not an ordinary boy. He is the keeper of this room." She frowned. "What does that mean?" "The keeper of this room," the man said, "is destined to spend eternity here. Only someone who truly loves him can break the curse." The girl's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that she was destined to spend eternity in this room with Ren? She didn't know what the future held, but she was determined to find Ren and help him break the curse. After hearing the man's warning, she continued her search for Ren throughout the room. She searched everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found. Just when she was about to give up, she noticed a faint glow coming from behind one of the bookshelves. She walked over and slowly pushed the bookshelf aside. Behind it was a secret passageway. She stepped inside and found herself in a completely different place. It was a vast, open field. In the distance, she could see a small cottage. She walked over to the cottage and knocked on the door. A moment later, the door opened and Ren stood before her. He looked different than she remembered, yet she felt an overwhelming sense of familiarity. "Ren," she called out. He turned to her and a surprised expression crossed his face. "How did you find this place?" "I followed you," she admitted. "I've been searching for you everywhere." A gentle smile spread across Ren's face. "You found me," he whispered. "I've been waiting for you." Without another word, he stepped aside and motioned for her to enter the cottage. Inside it was cozy and warm. A fire crackled in the hearth, casting flickering shadows on the walls. She could feel the weight of Ren's gaze upon her, and suddenly the significance of their connection dawned on her. She understood now why she'd been drawn to this room, to Ren. Their bond transcended time and space, and she was here to help him break the curse that kept him trapped. She reached out, her fingers brushing against Ren's. A jolt of electricity surged through her, and in that instant, she knew their destinies were intertwined. This room, this moment, it was all part of a grand tapestry woven by fate itself. As the fire crackled and the shadows danced, she vowed to unravel the secrets of the room and free Ren from his eternal slumber. Together, they would confront whatever challenges lay ahead, bound by a love that defied the boundaries of time. Her adventure was just beginning, and she knew that with each step she drew closer to breaking the curse and awakening the true love that had been waiting for her all along. The girl was deeply moved by Ren's story and determined to help him break the curse. Together, they searched every corner of the room, hoping to find a clue that could lead them to a solution. As days turned into nights and nights turned into days, their bond grew stronger with each passing moment. They read ancient texts, deciphered cryptic messages, and explored hidden passages, all in an effort to unravel the mystery of the room. Through it all, Ren never lost hope. He believed that someday he would break the curse and finally be free. The girl, too, was resolute. She refused to give up until they found a way out of the room. Their unwavering determination paid off when they stumbled upon a hidden chamber filled with powerful artifacts. Among them was a crystal orb that emitted a soft, ethereal glow. According to ancient texts, the orb held the key to breaking the curse. However, it also warned of great danger, saying that only the purest of heart could wield its power. The girl knew that she was the only one who met this criteria. Without hesitation, she placed her hand on the orb. In that instant, images flashed before her eyes, revealing the true nature of Rand's curse. She learned that he had been trapped in the room for centuries, his soul tethered to the orb by a powerful enchantment. To break the curse, she must awaken his memories and restore his faith in humanity. With renewed determination, she turned to Ren. Looking into his eyes, she whispered words of encouragement, reminding him of his strength and worth. As she spoke, she could feel the curse weakening. A surge of hope filled Ren's eyes as memories began to return. He remembered his life before the curse, his loved ones, and the betrayal that had led to his imprisonment. With each passing moment, the orb's glow intensified, bathing the room in a brilliant light. Finally, the light subsided and Ren collapsed into her arms. The curse was broken. Overjoyed, she rushed to his side, her heart pounding with excitement. Gently, she cradled him, whispering words of comfort and love. As she did, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had kept her promise to help Ren, and now they could finally leave the room together. Hand in hand, they walked toward the door, leaving the curse-ridden room behind them. As they stepped outside, they were greeted by the warm embrace of the sun and the sweet song of birds. It was a beautiful day, and they knew that their adventure was far from over. The world awaited them, full of possibilities and adventures. And so, with a newfound sense of purpose, they set off on their journey, ready to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that their bond of love would guide them through every challenge. Loved having you here. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe.